This episode is brought to you by Service Culture Firm, where service is our strength. We specialize in talent solutions, web design, social media management, and so much more. Visit our website at www.serviceculturefirm.com for more information.
Yo, Jay here. Welcome to the Fit 2 series. On this episode, we'll be talking to a mother, a wife, an HR partner for service culture. She is a graduate from the Big Red Machine. She'll be talking with us today on what it means to be fit to hire. Welcome, Nadia Bain.
Hi, I'm Nadia. As Jay said, I'm the HR partner at Service Culture Firm. I'm a talent acquisition specialist, and I'm excited to tell you why I'm fit to hire.
Oh, wow, you're excited? Give me a couple more squats, let me see the excitement. Good stuff, Nadia. So, before we get to what it means to be fit to hire, tell us about your fitness journey.
So I like to stay active. I have a lot of persons in my family that have comorbidities, COVID. And so I like to make sure that I do everything that I can to make sure that I'm in a good place physically.
Okay, that's good, sounds good. I like to do that too, get some things together. So no problem. What is your favorite exercise, Nadia?
If I had to pick there's no favorite exercise. I don't like to sweat. Oddly enough. I know, how does that work, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe a squat.
Maybe a squat?
Maybe a squat.
So what's your least favorite exercise?
Planks.
Planks?
Yes.
Show me a plank. I'm not sure what that is.
Cool.
Okay, let's move on. Being a HR professional, what does that mean? What is an HR professional? Why is it needed? Why I just can't say, hey, send someone in and then we just hire them and call it a good day? Why? What is the need for an HR professional in this day and age?
Well, an HR professional is a combination of a few things. You have that administrative professional who has a lot of organizational skills. Mm-hmm. You have that person with those people skills, which is very important because HR shouldn't just be a transaction. Mm-hmm. You understand? It should be strategic. And then you also have persons who are, I am nervous. Okay, give me a second. So, no, okay. Give me a second. Okay, all right. Can I start over? Right there? Nice. I had it, and then I lost it.
Oh, so this, I love this because if you were interviewing me,
okay,
and I went through this part of thinking, how would you react to that? Because I've been on interviews and we're seeing HR professionals who are very you could see that I lost them, they got turned off, as that it wasn't like a welcoming feeling if you didn't answer the question like you're a professional speaker with fluency and you know all the thing, and when you started to be like, hey, I mean, it's you feel like when you're going through the airport and you go through customs, they put you in the room, sometimes it feel like the spotlight is on you. Give us a tip on being the interviewee, how to recover, and B, on tips for people who are doing the interview to, be more welcoming when someone stutter a little bit or fumble on a question.
So I've been on both sides of the table. I understand what it is to interview and to be interviewed. And so on the side of the table that most persons are at, it can be daunting. But what you can do is just like how I did. If I'm nervous, let that be known and take a second and ask for a second. And then you go back, you collect yourself, because it is an intimidating situation. Mm-hmm. And you present the best version of yourself that you can, because it's not about the fact that it's an interview. It's an opportunity for you to tell your story. It's an opportunity to share your experience. It's an opportunity to let persons know what your skill set is. Why you're the best fit for the job. Why you're the best person for the job. And for the HR professionals who actually conduct the interviews, it's very important to know that it's not just a transaction. It's not supposed to be robotic. You are a person talking to a person. And so you're supposed to find some sort of common ground and make it a comfortable experience for someone and listen to them. So
Wow, that's yeah, I don't think that must be some new age HRing, because I'm not sure. Like, let me help you with the HR. I'm gonna lead you and make it comfortable for you to get on that slam ball right now.
okay.
All right. So back then, I'm the interviewer now. So
Okay.
what
Yeah.
is the last book you read?
The last book I read was Who Moved My Cheese.
That used to be my go-to for the interviews.
Really? Why?
I mean, it wasn't really my last book, but it was a good book. So people like, oh, yes. So you have to have some standardized answers. So why is that so important in an interview for people to ask, like, what's the last book you read? Why on many interviews that question comes up?
I think it's one of those things, I don't want to say it like that, but I think it's one of those throwaway questions. It's something where
Yeah,
you're
get to work.
oh gee. It's something where it gets you comfortable in the conversation. So if you can answer questions like, what was the last book that you read? If you were a superhero, which one would you be? What do you like to do in your free time? Those are things that let persons get their guard down, get the jitters out, so that they can be more comfortable with the conversation. So when the conversation gradually moves to harder questions, it's a natural transition as opposed to something where they are so uptight at first.
You see, my thing is, and I think many people who are being interviewed think that I have to say, I'm trying to find what you want to hear because I'm going to be judged by what I do in my spare time. I'm going to be judged by what I read. If the last book I read was not the Bible, but, Hustler,
Right.
you might judge me differently, but it is the last book. Why should I be penalized for being truthful?
I mean, you shouldn't be. At the end of the day, you don't understand what the interviewer likes anyway. That interviewer bias. You have no idea of understanding what they would prefer to hear. So the best thing that you can do is to be authentic. And so be naturally who you are. Be true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you can't fake that.
You can't fake that.
You can't fake that.
I think some people could fake that because some people, we are all seeing some people who interviewed really well. They said the right things. They clearly had some HR professional help them through some questions, and they just didn't know the job.
We thank God for the probationary period.
Ah.
And then too, the probationary period is not just for the company, but it's also for you, the candidate. Just like the interview is both for the company and for you as a person. You need to understand if you like this company, if this is something that you can see yourself doing, somewhere where you can see yourself growing, something that meets your needs. So people have to remember that it's a two-way street, the interview process and the application process.
So why do someone have to go through an interview process? Why can't I just say, you know what? Here are the tasks that are asked, here are the duties, here are the requirements, here's my resume. I fit this. Why do a company need the interview process to select a good candidate?
I think, firstly, it's a verification process. You want to make sure that what I see on the resume is actually a fair representation of the person who I have in the front of me. Secondly, some persons don't represent themselves well in the resume. You may have some errors. You may not have listed all of your skills. You may not listed all of your experience. And we need to dive a little deeper into that as well. Also, we need to see the person to understand if they would be a fit for the team and for the environment. Because while you may have the skills that match it, if you're a person who doesn't like to work in a team environment, or you are a person who is very team oriented, if you're a person who does well with certain environments, certain leadership styles, we need to figure all of that out, because we want to make sure that, yes, the puzzle piece looks like it works, but we need to make sure that it actually fits into the puzzle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you get on this rope, give me a tip on what not to do on the interview. Like what not to say or do. What this is a big no-no.
Okay, there
A
are
few.
actually many.
Yeah, give me the tough.
Okay, so in my experience, I've had a lot of persons who would have applied for various positions, and you don't remember what you applied for. That's a big thing. So let's say I try to reach out to you now. Granted, you have some companies who only list some bogey email address with no information but the job description, right?
Right.
Fine, fair. I understand that one. But when I reach out to you to say, you know, I'd like you to come in and interview for this position that I had listed from this company that you saw the name and you applied for, and you said, what's that? Where is this again? That doesn't work. That does not work. But it shows me that you may just be applying for things for applying for things' sake and not necessarily interested. And I see you have your response ready, but you're not necessarily interested in the opportunity at hand. Go ahead.
Now, HR professional,
Yes.
isn't it on you when you call me to say, hi, XYZ, I am calling from
Yes.
ABC.
Yes.
Are you still interested in this 1, 2, 3 position? So how's the onus on me? You being a professional,
Yes.
reaching out to me
Yes.
and not clearly articulating the purpose of this call.
I do. I call you and I let you know. I can even tell you when you applied based on when your application hit the system or it went into my inbox. And some persons still say, where's that again?
Okay.
What was that for? Please, at least if you're not quite sure, get all of the details and still confirm if this is something that you're interested in doing.
Okay.
You know?
Because you stalling, you doing this, you trying to run this clock out. I see you. No, that rope for you, not that rope for you.
That's powerful. So
Okay, so boom, know what you're getting interviewed for.
know
Okay.
what you're being interviewed for. So you want me to move this like now?
Yes, like yesterday.
Like now, okay. So know what it is that you're being interviewed for. You also want to make sure that you show up for your interview on time. You have a lot of persons who come in like a minute before the interview, and then they are flustered. They're not settled. They bring in people with them in the waiting area. Please don't.
That's my ride.
It's your ride, exactly. The ride comes in the car.
Say no more.
Right. So you bring in company. You stay on the phone the entire time. You're not necessarily aware of your surroundings. Oh, Jesus Lord.
Okay. So when you say stay on the phone, like this or like hey, what's going on? Or you mean like I?
So I've had persons that weren't aware of their surroundings. They were so focused on scrolling and what was in their phone that when I came up to collect them, they can't hear me or they don't even see me coming. And so they're like, hey, yeah, I gotta end this call before this interview. Let me wait then, because I didn't know we had an appointment. Just wanted to make sure.
But maybe they were on the phone because you were running late with your interviews.
Rarely the case.
Okay.
So usually if I'm running late for the interviews, I come out before time to let them know that we're running late and expect us in the next 5 minutes or so.
Okay. So cool. So I got to make sure I arrive on time. Don't bring my ride inside.
Yes.
Know what I applied for.
Yes.
Even though I believe you should let me know what I applied for when you call me, but say no more.
I did.
And I've heard that. Now let me know if this is true. When in doubt, it's best to overdress. Still true or no?
Yes. So if it's possible for you to do some reconnaissance, then you understand like whether or not it's a casual environment or so. But even think of it as if a stage performer. A performer usually dresses a little bit better than the audience that comes to see them. So understand that sometimes have your interview outfit ready. So let's say that you have a modest shirt, nice pants, skirt, dress, whatever, and a jacket. Maybe the environment is such that you don't need the jacket. Maybe the environment is such that you don't need the tie, but you'd rather take away than have to add on. So that's usually a good rule of thumb.
Why do businesses outsource their HR services?
So you normally don't have, with small and medium enterprises, you normally don't have dedicated persons who can advertise, shortlist, interview, and do the selection process for hiring. So you need somebody who can come in like a service culture, and we can work with you to even design your advertisement, publish it across different platforms, whether that be newspaper, social media. We can manage that post. We can communicate with the applicants. So that's even the I'm so sorry you weren't successful or you weren't shortlisted, all of those things, because those type of things take time away from your daily operations, which a lot of small business owners don't have. And so this is why it's really important sometimes to outsource, because the money that you may lose in terms of stepping away from the operation to go ahead and do these things, you really can't afford, and it may be just more cost effective to hire us.
Okay, awesome, because now you're a good interviewee, because I was going to lead into my next question of why service culture, and you gave us some tips. Would you want to expound on, because other people out there, so why service culture?
Well, again, it's because with my personal experience, I had the opportunity to be a talent management specialist for,
Okay.
right, you saw the shoulders. I had an opportunity to do this for a large operation. I had the opportunity to interview thousands of persons. And so that knowledge helps you to understand how we can streamline the process and make it best work for you. And having an opportunity, again, to sit on both sides of the table, I like to think of myself as an empathetic person. So I can understand, I understand what it is. It's the shoulders.
Okay.
I understand what it is that a candidate, their shortcomings may be, and how to work with them. Because sometimes, a lot of times, persons judge the book by its cover, and they really shouldn't. I've had some candidates that didn't look the best, or their resume didn't read the best. But when you sit there and you have that conversation with them, you're able to pull out of them like their full potential and realize that. And so sometimes you find the gems that's hidden in stone.
Okay.
So
you're a miner.
Hey.
You find the gems.
Yes.
Okay, it's no problem. So if someone wants you to mine for them their gems, how can they reach out to you and your firm?
We have our website, www.serviceculturefirm.com. You can reach out through there. You can email us at info@serviceculturefirm.com. You can check out our Facebook page at Service Culture Firm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter.
Blimp.
Smoke signals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so everywhere.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
so it's pretty easy to reach out to us, and we're very responsive.
Okay. So you know what? Do you have a telephone contact, or we just need to go on social media? And then
Social media, we're in the age of social media. What is the telephone? You can send us an email and we can instantly get back to you.
Okay, say no more. So in this age,
Yes.
in this era, in this time of COVID-19,
Yes.
how have you been navigating the interview process during this time?
It's changed. It's definitely changed. I'd like to promote the interview that happens over Zoom or Google Meets or whatever platform like that, just for safety purposes. So the face-to-face interviews that we've had since, you've had to be socially distanced, make sure that the hand sanitizer is there and everything like that. And that can be a tedious task. So sometimes it's just better for us to do the interview over the internet.
Okay. And how has that been? You signed, the candidates have performed better, worse, or the same?
Actually, sometimes better, many times better, because if you're taking an interview from the comfort of your own home, you don't have that whole issue where you have to dress the whole body, though we'd like you to, but you don't have to do so much dressing up. You don't have to drive. You don't have to get settled. You're in your living room, you're in your car, you're in a quiet spot, and you're able to conduct the interview, and sometimes that's better. I already have a copy of your resume because you would have emailed it over or anything like that, so I have it up on my screen. It's good for tracking purposes. But then you have some persons who may not understand the interview etiquette, so they have been trying to have the interviews on the roadside, or they're trying to have other persons in the background, and we have to encourage persons that it's still the same interview process, even though you're in the comfort of your own home. You still approach it the same way that you would if it was an in-person process.
Okay. That's good thing, because I would assume people might have been too relaxed in their environment, slouching and don't have the proper spacing,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
is it held against a person who might have bad internet service? Like, I know it's frustrating. So I mean, like, how can that not be held because you're asking questions again? What you say? Am I still on? You know, and then they.
You
so
know,
like,
it's not just the person, because when this whole COVID situation started, we had issues as well. So we had to go and source additional devices to give us that support that we needed. So you have to give persons grace as well. So going back to being empathetic, I understand what it is if it happens to me. So I'll understand if it happens to you. That's something that's beyond your control. So I would encourage you to not get frustrated. Try to test out your connectivity beforehand, but we all know that sometimes you just can't plan around these things.
Yes.
What we can do is be flexible, because we don't have to go to a meeting space. We could just arrange another time that's more convenient for you so we can get it done.
awesome sauce, awesome sauce. Now, Nadia, I've heard on good authority that you know how to handle yourself in the kitchen. Well, not the kitchen, for the oven, because they say, the stove ain't really up. I just saying what I heard. I didn't know how true it is.
Who said that?
I can't say right now.
Okay.
But I've heard that you're good at this baking thing. Like, you could do a mean pastry cake with those sort of things. Is this true?
It's true.
What is your go-to dish?
Wow, it's actually changed. I'm now more of a fan of the guava duff, because I was always a guava duff lover. So now that I've figured out how to do it, that's my go-to. I also enjoy chocolate cakes, red velvet cakes, twists, banana bread.
So you have a bakery?
I don't have a bakery.
Okay, but what I would like to do to confirm these things, because
Yes.
a good HR professional, and since I'm pretending to be one in this
You're doing a
environment,
great job.
we have to make sure, we have to verify, you say, what the resume says.
Yes.
So therefore, since I don't have anyone I can call, your previous employer, I would like to know when we can sample these products, when these products are going to be prepared, and then me and maybe a few of the listeners can get together and sample these products and A, see if you do produce them, and B, the quality of these products.
Yeah.
When can this happen?
You know, we just have to set up some time. Let me go to the grocery store once we're not locked down, and we can get it happen.
Okay, love it, love it. You heard it, y'all? We need our pastries, we need to get it done. Now that we know that you're an avid baker, Nadia, tell the guests and audience something else that many people do not know about you.
Do not know. Wow, I'm really more of an open book. Speaking of books. I love reading. I love my family. I love the beach. I try to sing. I love helping people. So while I try to assist service organizations, there's a lot of community service that I do without letting persons know. There's a lot of things that I do without posting. So persons usually just reach out to me, and any way that me and my family can assist, we will. If we don't have the resources, we'll find somebody who has the resources.
Yes.
So that's something a lot of persons don't know.
Okay, so you're a very resourceful young lady.
Yes.
Okay. So your last book you read is Who Moved My Cheese. What is your favorite book? Speaking of books.
Boy, that would have to be maybe Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
Fantasy. Going down the rabbit hole. So The Matrix is your favorite movie then?
No, not at all. But no, Alice in Wonderland, because it was just, yes, so it was good to go through the fantasy, but it was also good to understand, because my favorite storybook character is the Cheshire Cat. So it's really good to understand psychology, because if you really read into Alice in Wonderland, that's really what it's about, and understanding what is reality and what's not, and how we get between those things. So yeah, that's my favorite book.
Okay, so do you read more, like you actually like to touch the pages, or you good with the electronic reading?
Either which way, because we have Kindles, and we have like a plethora of books on our bookshelf. Right now, one of our friends sent us a book that I'm reading on my phone. I don't really like it, but just the mere fact that I'm getting to read and learn something new, I enjoy it. So however I can get this knowledge, I'll try to get it.
Okay, Nadia, thank you, man. It's been fun talking to you today. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
I don't know. Not really. It's just that I would encourage persons that if they're not sure about anything as it relates to the interview process, the application process, the onboarding process, they can reach out to me. at info@serviceculturefirm.com, Nadia@serviceculturefirm.com. And I will share any tips that I have. We usually put out a Tip Tuesday on our social media platforms every Tuesday, just to give persons some insight on what they need to know, because it's hard, it's difficult sometimes, but I feel like us as HR professionals, we can help persons a lot, because we've been there before we got to the professional status. We
Yes.
were there in that
Yes.
seat. So it's a lot of things that we expect for other persons to know that they don't know. This thing is not necessarily taught in schools, but based on experience. So if we can share our experiences with persons, that would be beneficial to them.
Awesome. Thank you, Nadia. You shared a lot of words of wisdom today. So, guys, you need someone, if you need some more HR tips, you need HR services, if you need some pastries, reach out for Service Culture and they will get the job done. Thank you for tuning in this episode. Please tune in for the next episode for the next and exciting guest. Jay out. Peace out. Y'all be safe.